Namaste and welcome to Live, Love, Engage. I am Gloria Grace Rand, and I am delighted to have a guest with us on the show today who is all about bringing peace and happiness into the world. And I will let him explain a little bit more about that. So I would like to welcome to Live, Love, Engage Sankarshan Das first off. So welcome.
Thank you very much, Gloria. Glad to be here.
Well, we are delighted to have you because I will say that this is the first time I have had a bona fide spiritual master on the program. And he has been blessed with the formula of enabling everyone on our planet to attain perfect peace and happiness and to lead our entire world out of chaos, which would be a wonderful thing. He has tens of thousands of students and disciples all over the world and represents an authorized discipline line of spiritual masters, which goes back for many thousands of years. And he has basically been dedicating his life to making knowledge freely available to the entire world of how that we can go about finding perfect peace and happiness. And so I think I'm going to start off right there in asking you, because I understand that there is you say there's a simple formula for doing that. So I know I would like to know what that is. You can
Well,
share.
you have to tune into how you actually are. You see, the basic cause of all of our anxiety is due to misidentification with the material body.
Hmm.
See, even though we want to live forever, we want to be happy, this body is subject to birth, death, old age, and disease. Those are unhappy things.
Hmm.
We come out screaming, it's very painful to be born, then we get sick, we get old, and we die. These things are unnatural, actually, for the living being. We don't go through all these miseries.
Hmm.
So when you actually real tune into your spiritual nature, which is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge, and stop misidentifying yourself with the gross covering, which is just like a garment we're wearing right now, that's the actual key. You'd have to tune into your spiritual identity, which is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge.
Hmm. Awesome. Well, I definitely know that I believe that I should say because it really is that's where that is I think where the secret of happiness lies is by going within. Um, how did you come to this realization? How did you become spiritually awakened?
Well, it's quite a long story. Basically, I was a college youth. My dad in high school, my dad said, "Son, your college days are gonna be the happiest days of your life." And he dropped me off to the dormitory. I was miserable as hell, and because they didn't tell me why I exist. I want to know, what is the meaning of life. There was no
Mm,
course that was telling me why I exist. What is the purpose? You're supposed to get a career, get a job, get a house, get a car, get a swimming pool,
mm,
whatever. That wasn't enough, you know.
mm,
So I eventually I heard there was something called self-realization, that you could actually achieve an enlightened state of consciousness beyond all material miseries. So began seeking that out. I went to this guru, that guru. They were misguided me. What they told me didn't work.
mm,
It didn't work. So basically, I continued in my search. That's a long story, but that eventually I found, um, after years of struggle, I was thinking, well, Jesus Christ was a self-realized soul. What was his secret? What made him an enlightened being? So
mm,
I can achieve that state of consciousness. So I was studying the Bible, and Jesus says, "Father, not my will, but thy will be done." Ah, that's it. You have to do what God wants, not what you want. You
mm,
have to become a servant of his will, and that's actual spiritual perfection. So I prayed for that guidance and how to actually execute the will of God. And God sent a representative here to Austin, His Holiness Vishnu Jana Swami, who told me about this process of spiritual awakening called Krishna consciousness, which I've been following now for half a century and
mm.
teaching also.
Well, that is an important point. It really is to I when you can just stop and ask God for guidance, it's amazing what can happen in your life when you, and especially when you stop and listen, because that's the key. Sometimes I think number one, we don't always ask God for help, and then sometimes we turn a blind eye or a deaf ear to it. So I'm glad that you were able to do that. And
The
yeah,
difficulty is we ask him to do what we want.
well,
God, I want this, I want it, give me, give me, give me, you know. We
yeah.
go with our shopping list. That's better than atheism, but the perfection is to, to humbly submit yourself to the Supreme Being. Now, how can I serve you? What do you want me to do? That's the perfection of consciousness.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, in doing some reading about you and looking at your website and whatnot, I noticed that um, your teachings, I guess, are also sort of based on the ancient Vedic teachings of
That's
India.
correct.
Yeah,
Especially Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita.
yeah. And I actually recently, I think, I think I actually picked up a copy now at the used bookstore of it. But I had listened to an audio book of it recently, sort of a short version of it, but just, sort of going over a little bit the highlights of some of the teachings. But what was it about these teachings that really spoke to you?
Well, my first connection with the Bhagavad Gita was back in '68 in Denver.
Mm.
And in the Gita, Krishna says, if you offer me with love and devotion, a leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. So I started doing that. I had a little altar and I'd offer, it's a vegetarian diet. Krishna doesn't say meat, fish, or eggs, but he offered me a leaf, flower, fruit, or water. So I was offering my food to God and eating that food. So that way my eating became a holy sacrament. So that was my first connection with the Gita.
Mm.
But then later on, later on when I was intensely searching for perfection, then Krishna also says in the Gita, Tadvidi pradipatena paripashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam gyanindas tattvadarshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching the spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively, render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So this Swami I met, he was a disciple of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, the founder of the Hare Krishna movement. And he was telling me I should become the disciple.
Mm.
So I was kind of hesitant at first, but I realized finally this was the real secret of how to achieve that perfectional state. You become actually a disciple of a bona fide spiritual master. You follow his instructions, then you actually you actually live in the Bhagavad Gita 24 hours a day.
Mm. Wow. Um, you you talk about that we can actually bring about a new era of peace, prosperity, and happiness to our troubled planet, with all the things we've been dealing with in the last year, a pandemic and global warming and all of that. So how can we go about doing that?
It's described in the ancient Vedic wisdom, Ishavashamitam sarvam yat kinjab jagajam jagat, chaina bunjita magadalkashasvidanam. Everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. Therefore, one should accept only those things necessary for himself, which is set aside as his quota, knowing well to whom everything belongs. So we actually see that the Supreme Person, that God is actually the owner of everything, and everything should be engaged in his service. This God-centered conception is the true formula for bringing peace and happiness to the entire world. And Krishna also describes this in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 5th chapter, text 29. He says, Bhoktaram jagatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gyatvam shantamrichtati. One who knows me is the owner of everything, and therefore the enjoyer of everything, and the best friend of all living beings. That person can have peace. So if we can educate the entire world to understand that Supreme Person, that Supreme Person is the source of all existence. He's the actual owner of everything because everything is his energy and everything is meant for his pleasure and satisfaction. And he's actually our very best intimate friend. If we can educate the entire world in this peace formula, then we can have true world peace.
Mm.
That's my mission. I want to educate the entire world in this formula.
Hmm. Now, and I know part of that is, I guess, is you, I understand that you've got a book that you've been working on. Can you share a little bit about
Yeah, I
what
have
that book
my
is?
book is Conquer Your Mind and Deliver the World. It's the story of my own spiritual awakening and the detailed instructions of how you can become spiritually awakened and how then we can take that awakening and manifest it throughout the entire world and bring a new era to this planet.
Hmm. Well, um, that sounds like something we definitely should read. But I want to ask you, because I know there are probably some people out there saying, well, that sounds nice about being spiritually awakened, but I also still want to be able to put food on the table, and I want to be able to enjoy, I don't know, whatever. Uh, well, I was going to say go to the movies, but we have trouble doing that. But let's say, I want to be able to play my video games, or I want to be able to run a business and be successful. Can you have both?
Well, it's just like just like in your body, the example of your body. Now, what part of the body actually enjoys the food? It's the belly, right?
Mm.
Now, the hand doesn't really enjoy the food. It serves the hand serves the belly.
Mm.
Now, does the hand get the enjoyment? Yes, it does. You see, when the hand instead of just squeezing the food in the fingers, the hand gives it to the mouth to go into the belly. That's how the hand enjoys the food, by giving it to the belly. So the thing is, when you actually focus on serving that supreme enjoyer, then you enjoy perfectly yourself also. If we try to enjoy separately from that supreme, we may try to enjoy, we can never really enjoy. Just like that old song from the Rolling Stones, I can't get no satisfaction. We try to enjoy here, we try to enjoy that, we try to enjoy. We're still frustrated. But if we just focus on serving that supreme, and we enjoy along with him,
Mm.
because we're part of him. When you serve that supreme person, when you serve your belly, every part of the body is served. You see? So nothing is left out. That's how you actually enjoy,
Mm.
by serving the supreme.
Mm. Awesome. Well, I know something else that I noticed that you do, and I imagine it's because you enjoy it, is you also deal in music. I understand that you're a songwriter, and I saw a video of you actually singing and playing guitar. So, how um, how has that, um, I guess, factored into what you into your
Well,
spiritual practice?
I wrote a song on that verse I quoted from the peace formula. I made a song about that, and it's actually had some big ratings on the just a few months ago. In fact, it's getting ready to get some really good ratings on what's that called, the rating service, they call it Billboard.
Mm.
Getting ready to chart on Billboard, my song, The Peace Formula.
Oh, wow.
And I sent it to President Obama. He really liked. I got a nice letter from him. He really appreciates the song. I have a website about it, thepeaceformula.com.
Mm.
Obama really liked the song. So yeah, um, we can use music, we can use drama, we can use movies, we can use all kinds of media to educate the world as to the higher consciousness that'll bring peace and happiness for everyone.
Mm. Well, I think that's a wonderful idea, and I do hope it actually was bringing to mind the old John Lennon song "Give Peace a Chance." I was actually, I think, reading something about that recently in AARP magazine. Somebody was talking about it again, and it's amazing how, you know, that was something that was back in the 1970s when we were dealing with the Vietnam War, and it's it's sad sometimes how it seems like we keep sort of repeating our same mistakes, and things don't seem to change. And at the same time, um, I suspect, or at least am hopeful, that maybe things are starting to shift, because I do come across people like yourself and others even who are not necessarily spiritual masters, but they're spiritual, of a spiritual mind, and are really working to bring change about in our planet. Um,
It's certainly possible. We have that potential. If we can just, instead of putting our egos in the center, put God in the center, we can actually change the whole situation.
yeah. Uh, from your lips to God's ears, right? As they say. Um, what else have you been able to, uh, or I should say, what other advice do you have for people in particular of how to be able to? I mean, because I know you mentioned, I know what I want to say. How can we, you talk about putting God first in our lives. So what would be
Here's
some
the
good
technique.
ways to do that?
The recommended technique in this age is the chanting the holy names of God. Just like we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. A Muslim could chant Allah, Allah, Allah. A Krishna could chant Christ, Christ, Christ.
Hmm.
These transcendental sound vibrations actually elevate the consciousness beyond material plane to the spiritual plane. So we recommend the daily meditation on the holy names of God according to your tradition. If you have no tradition, chant Hare Krishna. George Harrison recommended that in the My Sweet Lord, the Hare Krishna or Hallelujah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can chant a spiritual sound vibrations by associating with those spiritual sound vibrations, you elevate your consciousness. So we recommend a daily meditation on transcendental sound vibrations, the holy names of God.
Okay. Well, I I know I don't do the chanting, but I do it, at least some silent vibration, silent meditation every morning, and I know that that has definitely helped me. But I might have to consider doing the chanting as
Yeah,
well.
the sound is very powerful. It's very,
Mm,
very powerful.
mm,
It's much easier to focus the mind on a sound than on nothing.
mm. Now, do you recommend? Can someone just listen to, like, say, because I know, like on YouTube, they've got all kinds of recordings and things of chanting,
That's
or is
also
it
good.
you need to do it yourself though?
If you hear it, that's also good.
Hmm.
By hearing the chanting, that is also good. Actually, begins with hearing. Hearing is the first thing. What we do in our programs is we have what's called kirtan, where a leader would sing, and
Hmm.
then everybody comes in as a chorus. He'll go Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. And then the whole group comes in as a chorus, and they go back and forth. So you hear and you chant, go back and forth.
Hmm.
So that hearing is actually the beginning.
That's it's interesting that you mentioned that, because I actually just took part in a course recently about vocal and exploring the voice, and that was one of the things we did. Is we did do some kirtan chanting. So I've been exposed to that now, and it was. It really was powerful just doing it that little bit in our class, and I'll just let anyone know, if you're interested, there are you can find these on Spotify, because that was what my coach who was leading this, he had pulled together a list of a playlist of some different kirtan um, chants to listen to. So if you're interested, I know you can definitely search for them online and find them. um, I just trying to think what else I wanted to ask you about. Tell me a little bit more about um, what made you decide to write a book? Because I'm in the middle of writing a book myself, so I'm always curious to talk with
Well,
folks who are writers.
the world is in desperate need of this guidance right
Mm,
now. We don't have proper leadership in the world. The
mm,
whole thing is just a madhouse. So we need proper guidance in the world so that people can understand how to live in such a way that they're in harmony with the Supreme Person, and how we can create a peaceful, beautiful atmosphere for everybody on this planet.
mm. Okay. Well, um, if somebody wants to be able to get some more information from you and to maybe study, do you have something available that people can go to?
I have a free e-course. You just go to joincourse.com and you'll get something every day. And you can write me questions also. Ask
Oh,
questions. I got about almost 30,000 people signed up. It's a daily e-zine going out. The Ultimate Self-Realization Course.
wow.
You just sign up at joincourse.com.
All right, wonderful. And where else can people find out more about you, and if they want to be able to learn more about how to bring more peace into their life. Other than that, because you have another website too, right?
Yeah, you can go to worldleader.com.
All right, excellent. I'll make sure that I have all of that information in our show notes. So if you are listening and can't get to a piece of paper and to write something down or get to your computer, you'll be able to look it up later on our website. If you go to liveloveengagepodcast.com, you'll be able to find all the information. Before I let you go, is there anything else that you think is important that you'd like to share with those who are listening or watching on YouTube?
Absolutely. We encourage you, don't cheat yourself by misidentifying yourself with your material body. You're actually an eternal spiritual being, qualitatively one with the Supreme Person, the source of all existence. You're actually an eternal servant of that Supreme Person. You actually have an identity in the spiritual world, in his transcendental pastimes. Due to a misuse of your independence, you've come to try to enjoy separately here in this material existence, but there actually is no genuine enjoyment. Well, the real enjoyment that we have is to get back to our original position. Right now, we're like fish out of the water. Fish may try to enjoy flapping on the beach, but he can't really enjoy on the beach. You get him back in the water. So we want to teach you how to get back into your actual identity as a spiritual being, servant of the Supreme Person. This is we want to teach you how to do this because this will give you unlimited happiness. And when you realize that identity, death will just be a piece of cake, just like walking from one room to another. See, right now, death is very fearful for us. We're so afraid of COVID-19. Oh, I may catch it. But actually, when you realize your spiritual identity, death is nothing. It's just walking from one room to another. So we want to train you how to awaken your eternal identity as a servant of that Supreme Person, how to be in a state of pure loving relationship with him. When you give your loving service, here's the beauty of this process. When you give your love to that Supreme Person, who's the root of all existence, then you become the perfect lover of all living entities throughout all of existence, including yourself. You water the root of the tree, all the leaves and branches are nourished. If you water the leaves separately, they're not going to get the benefit of the water. But when you water the root, then the whole tree is nourished. So we teach you how to water the root of all existence, which gives, that way you can give loving service to every single living entity throughout the entire universe. Just imagine how good you would feel if every day you can be perfectly serving every living entity throughout all of existence. That's what we train you to do.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I think that would be a good practice for people to do. So I highly recommend you to, go to joincourse.com and check it out because, yeah, we definitely need to be able to spread more love and happiness in the world. And I do think you're right. It is important. It does start with us. We have to be able to learn how to love ourselves so that we can then be able to love each other a lot more easily and to be able to see that we are all just a reflection of ourselves. So thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to be able to enlighten my audience, and hopefully someone will hear your message today and be able to something will trigger in them that they'll want to be able to do some more research and connect with you.
Yeah, we want to turn on the light within everyone. Everyone has that light within, but most people have it turned off right now. We want to flip that switch till you become an enlightened being. That's our goal. We want to help you turn on that switch to make you an enlightened being.
Absolutely. All right. Well, with that, I think we're going to call it a day for this episode, but I appreciate you being here again, Sankarshan Das. And
I'm absolutely delighted to be here, Gloria, man. We're absolutely delighted to be here with you. I'll come back whenever you want me to come back again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I thank you who are watching on YouTube and who are listening on all the different podcast platforms out there like iTunes and Spotify and Pandora. And until next time, as always, I encourage you to go out and live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically.